And much like Prison Anal, it requires players to constantly adjust their positioning and timing for optimal performance. How's it going, Warriors of Light? I'm Myth, the LFL definitely chasing you up the stairs when you turn the lights off for the night.
Sneaky, sneaky.
And today we're delving into a hotly debated topic within the realm of Eorzea. Positionals in Final Fantasy XIV. Are they as outdated as Madonna? Should they be removed like an anti-vaxxer's gene pool? Positionals have been a staple of combat in Final Fantasy XIV since its inception, adding an extra layer of strategy and skill to battles. But as the game evolves, so too do the discussions around these mechanics. For those of you new to the game, positionals are combat abilities that deal increased damage or have additional effects when executed from specific positions relative to the target. And much like Prison Anal, it requires players to constantly adjust their positioning and timing for optimal performance. But here's the burning question. In a game where encounters are constantly evolving, do positionals still hold their relevance? Or are they nothing more than a damage tax? Some argue they add depth and challenge to combat, rewarding players for mastering their rotations and positions. Others, however, contend that positionals feel outdated and unnecessarily punish players for minor errors or latency issues, and in some fights, certain positional bonuses are just not available outside of True North. Speaking of True North, bet you didn't know there was an even better roll cooldown called subscribe. Hit it. Just trust me. The debate rages on across the forums, Reddit threads and social media platforms. While some players enjoy the added complexity positionals bring, others feel frustrated by the unforgiving nature, especially in high stakes raid encounters. So, where do we stand? Should positionals be relegated to the annals of history? Well, much like tearing down a statue of Winston Churchill, it's not that simple. Final Fantasy XIV prides itself on catering to a diverse player base, offering different playstyles and challenges. Removing positionals entirely could alter the fundamental feel of combat and identity of certain jobs. They're not just mechanics, they're intrinsically linked to what makes each job unique and distinct, but that doesn't mean there isn't room for improvement. The game's developers at Square Enix must carefully balance accessibility with depth. Perhaps future updates will introduce alternate mechanics or adjustments to address the concerns surrounding positionals. For me personally, I feel like positionals were an amazing idea to add a little bit more flavour to the basic ass boss fights of yesteryear, but nowadays, character designs are much more erratic. I generally feel like in most modern boss fights, positionals just feel like an unnecessary damage tax. I'd like to see them either removed or rebalanced and made more impactful, as landing these consistently in more modern fights is significantly more difficult than it used to be, and should be rewarded more than it is. Ultimately, the decision lies with Square Enix, but the community's voice is vital. So Warriors of Light, what are your thoughts? Do positionals still have a place in Final Fantasy XIV, or is it time for a change? Share your opinions in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more discussions on all things Final Fantasy XIV, and click this whilst it's at my flank to increase the potency of my next video. Yes, you saw what I did there.